All rise for the warden's entrance to the council chamber.
Good morning, everyone. Please join me for O Canada, followed by a moment of quiet contemplation. Okay, thank you. Please be seated. Okay, I'll look to my clerk for roll call, please.
Thank you, Warden, and good morning. We have all members of council in attendance with a couple of exceptions. Councillor Measures sends regrets with alternate Councillor Broderick in attendance. And Councillor Sondu sends his regrets with alternate Councillor Verkuyk in attendance, and you have your quorum. Thank you.
Is there anybody that needs to leave early today? Councillor Leduc.
By 11, Warden.
11 o'clock. Councillor Bell.
12 o'clock.
12 o'clock. Any at home? Not seeing any. Pretty short agenda today. We'll probably be done by that time, but I guess I shouldn't say things like that. We could be here all day. So I'll look for the approval of the agenda. Councillor Dolan.
Thank you, Your Worship, and good morning. Moved by myself and seconded by Councillor Van Stavern that the agenda for February the 11th, 2025 meeting of County Council be approved.
Any questions arising from the agenda? Not seeing any. All in favor? That is carried. Thank you. Do I have a disclosure of pecuniary interest by any member of council? If you find yourself in that situation later, please declare it at that time. Not seeing any. Presentations and delegations, we have none. Consent agenda. Councillor Burkett, please.
Thank you. Good morning, Your Worship. Through you, moved by myself, second by Councillor Norcross, that the Council communications and proclamations January the 28th, 2025 to February the 10th, 2025 have been given due consideration be received.
Any questions arising from the proclamations? Not seeing any. All in favor? That is carried. Thank you. Adoption of council minutes and confirmation. I will go to, you're having trouble with your computer, Deputy Warden, Councillor Dolan, if you could get that motion for me.
Thank you. Yes, moved by myself and seconded by Deputy Warden Coughlin that the following council minutes be confirmed and adopted and Committee of the Whole reports be confirmed. County Council minutes, January 28th, 2025, Committee of the Whole report, January 28th, 2025, Committee of the Whole confidential report, January 28th, 2025.
Thank you. Any business arising from the minutes? Not seeing any, so all in favor? That is carried. Presentations and considerations of the Committee of the Whole reports, Chair Evans.
Good morning. Thank you, Warden. Appreciate that. Committee of the Whole report for performance management for January 28th, 2025. Resolution is moved by myself and seconded by Councillor Norcross. Resolution being that the performance management recommendations contained within the Committee of the Whole report dated January 28th, 2025 be approved, including the confidential item.
Any items to be pulled from performance management? Not seeing any, so all in favor? That is carried. Thank you. And now Human Services, Chair Smith, please. Mike, Brian.
A newbie, eh? See, there you go. Thank you, Your Worship. Good morning, everybody. The Committee of the Whole report, Human Services, January 28, 2025, moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Miskimins, that the Human Services recommendations contained within the Committee of the Whole report dated January 28, 2025 be approved. Any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Sorry.
Thank you.
Your Worship.
We got there. Next, I have Corporate Services, Chair Dolan.
Thank you, Worship. Moved by myself and seconded by Councillor Miskimins that corporate services recommendations contained within the Committee of the Whole report dated January 28, 2025 be approved.
Any items to be pulled from the corporate agenda? Not seeing any. All in favor? That is carried. Thank you. Presentations and considerations of special committee reports, we have none. County officers reports, we have none. Motions of which notice has been previously given, none, and notices of motion, we don't have any, and no closed session. So I'll look for the consideration of the bills. Councillor Norcross.
Thank you, Worship. Through you, moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Burkett. The bills number 7112-25 and 7113-25 be enacted as bylaws of the County of Simcoe.
Any questions on the bills? Not seeing any. All in favor? That is carried. Thank you. Announcements. I just will mention that our February 25th meeting will also be in a hybrid format. I know there's some folks that were very happy today with the storm brewing that they didn't have to come in. So that's a reminder. The next meeting will also be in a hybrid. Any other announcements? Councillor Gordon.
Thank you, Worship. Just a reminder that the equivalent to the Terry Fox Run for our shelter systems in Canada is February 22nd, coldest night of the year. It's a big fundraiser. It fills in the gaps where the province and the county simply can't fully fund these organizations, and they rely on this funding. This year, they partner with the Simcoe, United Way, Simcoe Muskoka, and they're halfway there to their $50,000 goal. They're at $25,000 now. So look for ways to support this. You don't have to do the walk. This year, maybe snowshoes or dog sledding with the way the snow's been going. But you can certainly sponsor at any rate. You'll find teams all over the coldest night of the year website. And of course, for the folks following along for Midland, I have one for Midland Council and friends. Please feel free to join the team or put a pledge in. This funding is absolutely imperative to their operational needs for the next year. And it happens once a year. It's February 22nd, happening at a shelter near you.
Thank you, Councillor. And Councillor Bell.
Yeah, just to let everybody know, at the Ramona Hall this week, or this Saturday, is our Ramona Winterfest. It's ongoing every year. It's about a 3-kilometer hike. There's a trail made, different stops. It's a poker run style with different activities and lunch after. So hope everybody can make it out.
Thank you, Councillor Rawson.
Thank you. I just want to invite everyone to the best Ontario's Winterfest in Penetanguishene this weekend, the longest running 77th annual Winterama. Our council ordered all the snow, so please come join us at Winterama this weekend.
Councillor Dolan.
Thank you, Worship. I just wanted to let everybody know that registration is now open for the 2025 Ontario Small Urban Municipal Conference, also known as OSM. It's being held this year in the beautiful town of Collingwood, starting on April 30th and goes to May the 2nd. So accommodations are also now available. You can get all the information you need on the website, the OSIM website. And thanks to Collingwood for being such a good host, they've put together a number of compelling study tours that people can choose from on the Wednesday afternoon before the conference starts Wednesday evening with the trade show. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. Any other announcements? Not seeing any house, any online. Okay, with that, I'll look for the confirmatory bylaw. Councillor Norcross.
Thanks, Your Worship. Through you, moved by myself, second by Councillor McDonald, that bill number 7114-25 be enacted as a bylaw of the County of Simcoe.
That motion, all in favor? That is carried. Thank you. And now I'll look for a motion that the February 11th, 2025 meeting of the County Council be adjourned at 9:11 a.m. Next scheduled meeting, February 25th, 2025. Moved by Councillor Fowler, second by Councillor Mike Smith. All in favor? That is carried. So we'll take a few minutes now to get set up for committee of the whole and invite our city. I think we have one city rep here today. The rest are online. Well, there's okay. The city reps of rep has come in. Jonathan, if you can give me a roll call, please.
Thanks, Warden. In addition to those members in attendance at council, we're joined by the city representatives. Aurelia Councillor Durnford is absent. Aurelia Councillor Fallis and Aurelia Mayor McIsaac are present. We have regrets from Barrie Councillor Hamilton, Barrie Mayor Nuttall, and Barrie Councillor Nagusi, with Barrie Councillor Riepma in attendance. And you have your quorum. Thanks, Warden.
Thank you. I'll look for approval of the agenda. Councillor Dolan, please.
Thank you. Moved by myself and seconded by Councillor McDonald that the agenda for the February 11th, 2025 meeting of Committee of the Whole be approved.
On any questions arising from the agenda? Not seeing any. All in favor? That is carried. Thank you. Do I have a disclosure of pecuniary interest by any member of council? Not seeing any. If you find yourself in that situation, please declare it at that time. Presentations and delegations from all sections. Yes, we have first one is Human Services. Chair Smith.
Thank you, Your Worship. And again, good morning, everybody. First thing on our item today is 5.1. This is a 5.1 letter dated February 3rd, 2025 from the town of Collingwood regarding endorsements of ending homelessness report. Any questions or comments on this? All right, seeing none, I'll ask for a mover and a seconder, please. Moved by Councillor Fryer, seconded by Councillor Fowler. All in favor? Opposed? That carries. Item number 6 on Human Services is 6.1, and this is the Homelessness Addiction and Recovery Treatment, HART, Hub and Encampment Response and Shelter Expansion Initiative Funding Update. And I'll direct this to General Manager Fayez Baguette to speak to this. General Manager.
Thank you, Chair Smith. So this is an information report asking to be received, but also some authority to enter into agreements. A couple of weeks ago, we got the announcement, and many on the Heart Hub application, our successful Heart Hub application, which was very good news for the county and for our homelessness system as a whole. The next step is now implementation, which requires us to begin putting together what we said we'd do in our proposal. So this report's asking for 3 things: to be received, to ask for authority to enter into the necessary agreements to begin implementation, and to, in the event that funding doesn't flow as soon or as we'd like from the province due to the election and some delays on their caretaker status. That we, if needed, engage into bridge funding from reserve. However, by the time we wrote the report, we did hear back from the province, and they've given us clear instruction on funding, so there shouldn't be any ambiguity. So we wouldn't need that third action, but we just put it as in the last 2 weeks we were unsure and we wanted to hit the ground running. So that's pretty much it on the report. Thank you.
Thank you, General Manager. One-time funding, very important. Questions or comments on this? All right, seeing none, we do have a recommendation.
We have somebody online. Sorry,
Oh, I'm sorry.
Thanks. Through the
Councillor
chair.
Fowler? Councillor Fallis, go ahead.
Oh, thanks. Through the chair, there were a couple of questions I had for Mina. One was just with this proposal, the Heart Hub. One was, is there going to be some collaboration with local nonprofits in terms of the implementation? Obviously, a lot of different local nonprofits help to really create the current framework that we have in place, and it would make sense to be working with them to develop this and to ensure that what we're doing is collaborative with what they're doing. That was question one. Question two, is this going to be something taken on by the county? Is this something taken on by a nonprofit? Or is this something taken on by a for-profit? Maybe if Mina could elaborate further there. And then the final question was just in terms of transparency, in terms of what we're kind of laying out there, what type of contracts we're putting out. Is this something that's going to come back to council, or is this now staff proceeding? Maybe if Amina could fill in those blanks. Thanks.
Thank you, Councillor. General Manager Fayez-Baguette.
Through the chair, thanks for the question, Councillor Fallis. For the first question, the local service providers that are delivering services in our community that are specific to health delivery for addiction and recovery, or where it be for supportive housing or permanent housing, would certainly be engaged. The proposal was pulled together because it is an Ontario health proposal. And it's focused on clinical recovery and treatment care first, then supportive housing, then permanent housing. So our role to answer your second question, our role as the county is the system service manager. We had the responsibility of facilitating the application and bringing together all those who had direct interest in serving in those communities. So we have primary partners it's a governance structure, and that governance structure of primary partners are the one that developed the application and submitted it. And then will be secondary partners that help with the overall referral into the different pathways of service. So that's where I foresee our current shelter and homelessness system being connected and our current housing system being connected through the referral pathways to those services. And then for the third thing, in terms of contracts, it's nothing different than anything else we do at the county. We seek authority from council to enter into agreements, and those agreements are subject to all of our different bylaws and procurement laws. This is primarily 100% flow through, other than some of the setup costs. So the county isn't, using the 6.3 million itself. It's flowing it right through to the service providers that are delivering the services, similar to many of the things we do here at the county.
Thank you, General Manager. Just a follow-up, Councillor?
Thanks. Yeah, just a quick follow-up. So maybe could you just explain a little bit further, Mina, in terms of what the importance of that relationship is in establishing kind of collaboration between local nonprofits and this program that's going to be laid out? Thanks.
Through the chair. I mean, it's as important as ever. I think those who are within our funded system and are delivering services to support those experiencing homelessness have always been tasked with the responsibility of being housing first and finding housing and permanent outcomes. This Heart Hub program and model is really a pathway to facilitate a specific population that needs additional care and support prior to being housed. So I think it was very clear in the application. It's very clear in the call from the province that every single person participating has to be referred off the by name list. And that's the responsibility of the county, which is the responsibility of those funded providers to deliver the by names list. In terms of the rest of it, though, it's very, very particular and prescribed on who does what in our application, because clinical health care is not something that nonprofits do. And that's something that goes into the hands of those who do it. Our Ontario health teams are going to be very involved. Our hospital service providers and our mental health service providers are all going to be very involved, but they're traditionally not funded through the county. They're funded through Ontario Health. So this is just an extension of that, with us just tying in our social services to the referral pathways.
Thank you, General Manager. Any other questions or comments on this matter? All right, seeing none, the recommendation is that item CCW 2025-49 dated February 11th, 2025 regarding homelessness, addiction, and recovery treatment Heart Hub application and encampment response and shelter expansion initiative funding update be received, and that the necessary bylaw be enacted to authorize the General Manager of Social and Community Services or a director from Social and Community Services in his or her absence, and the county clerk to enter into an agreement related to this project, and that staff be authorized to utilize necessary funding from the Social Services Reserve to start the critical steps of implementation while awaiting provincial funding on specific components for the approved Heart Hub and provincial encampment initiative implementations plans. Funding will be utilized contingent upon written confirmation on the project proceeding from the province. Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor? Sorry, thank you, Mr. Clerk. Could I have a mover and a seconder for this, please? Moved by Councillor Fowler, seconded by Councillor Anderson. All in favor? And opposed? That motion carries. Moving on to item number 7, Long-Term Care Committee Management. It takes a village video update, and I'll turn this over to General Manager St. Clair.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good morning, everyone. This next video is part of our Takes a Village series for profiling our long-term care and senior services facilities. I think you'll enjoy this video clip. It showcases 2 signature events that were held for our residents at Georgian Manor and Village. One focused around Halloween activities and the other around Christmas events. They were very well attended, not only by residents in the long-term care home, but by the village. And we actually had school buses of children attend some of the activities. So for your enjoyment, thank you.
Best day of the year. We have our annual haunted house. We try to up it every year. This year is extra scary. This year we've added more jump scares, more twists and turns, more decor. Last year was kind of a test drive. Now we know what the clients want, what everyone wants to see and get scared about.
Seeing the residents smile, laugh, be surprised, see the effort that the staff put in, to provide something like this. I enjoy when residents, when they leave and they're excited, especially when everybody's dressed up.
My name is Sharon Foster, and I volunteer here at the Georgian Manor, and I've been here for about 10 years volunteering. Today they have the children from St. Louis School in Penetanguishene, and they've come over to help them carve pumpkins. And they get just as much enjoyment out of it as the residents do. Behind us, we've got the scariest haunted house, I think, in town. It's wonderful. The staff have done a wonderful job putting this together for the residents. It gives me great pleasure to volunteer and to give back. I worked in a nursing home for 21 years. I miss my job So it gives me great pleasure to come back and volunteer and be with the residents, the people that I've learned to know and sort of grown with over the years.
This is a wonderful winter wonderland that the team put together for us, and it's really lovely.
Oh, what we're doing is we're bringing joy to all the residents of Georgian Village today. I just flew down here. It was very hard to land because there's not much snow. But yes, we're just trying to spread a little joy to all the residents of Georgian Village here today. So that pesky Grinch right now stealing our candle, been stealing our Christmas tree all day long. It's hard to keep up with this Grinch. Look, she's
They did a lovely job. Very nice. It looks really Christmassy, and it's so good for the residents, especially those ones in long-term care that can't get out. I worked for the county for a number of years before I came in 4 years ago. I retired, and of course it's my favorite place.
My day job, my name is Tim. I work in maintenance, the maintenance department. I've been with Georgian Village approximately 8 years. This sort of stuff is very important to me because not only do I work here, my mom also lived here, and to give back and to see the people that took care of my mom, and it means a lot.
We started these events about 2 years ago after the pandemic to bring some spice back into staff's lives because, the pandemic was so hard on the staff, and we had to bring some fun and want to make them come to work. And we also wanted to make it resident focused, and that we have done. So we have participation from all of our residents here at Georgian Village, and it's just so awesome to see the smiles on our residents' face.
Thanks for that, Jane. And it's, I watched the Christmas one earlier, and it puts a lump in your throat when you see the great work that our staff at the county do every day, and the volunteers here, and that many of them worked for the county and now go back and volunteer at the place they worked in the past. And, most importantly, I think what this does for the residents of these facilities is absolutely outstanding. So, Jane, to you and your staff and your department, folks, another big round of applause for staff. That's just great.
Thank you so much.
All right, moving on to item number 7.2, CCW 2025-54, 2024-25, one-time funding for long-term care. Any questions or comments on this matter? Seeing none, a mover and a seconder, please get this on the floor. Moved by Councillor Bell and seconded by Councillor Walker that the CCW 2025-054 dated February 11th, 2025 regarding 2024/25 one-time funding for long-term care be received, and that the staff be authorized to utilize the one-time funding received from Ontario Health to purchase the equipment and provide training as outlined in this item. Any other questions or comments again? Seeing none, all in favor? Opposed, if any? That motion carries. And now moving on to item number 8, other matters for consideration. Are there any other matters for consideration today? Seeing none, I'll turn it back over to you, Warden.
Thank you, Councillor, and thank you, City Reps, for joining us. We'll continue with our meeting now. We're still making good time, so I'll turn it over to Corporate Services Chair Dolan.
Thank you, Worship. We're moving on to the item number 9.1, which is the Township of Severn official plan. Questions or comments on this? Councillor Burkett.
Thank you, through you, Madam Chair. I just want to take this time to thank Julie, Dan, and Nathan for all their hard work to get it to where it is today, and thank them for all their hard work working with our staff to make it happen. Our OP is 15 years old, so we've been looking forward to this, and I just want to say thank you.
Thank you for those comments, Councillor. Anyone else? Hearing none, we did be asked by staff for a friendly amendment to the recommendation. So the recommendation is identical to the one in your package, except to add 3 words where it says non-decision applies to various sections and map schedules are the 3 words to be added. So I'm going to ask for a mover and a seconder for the amended recommendation, moved by Councillor Burkett, seconded by Councillor Cox. Any questions, concerns, amendments, further amendments? Seeing none, I'll read the recommendation that item CCW 2025-046 dated February the 11th, 2025 regarding Township of Severn official plan be received, and that the Township of Severn official plan be as adopted by the Township of Severn Council bylaw 2024-40 dated June 26, 2024 and modified as per Schedule 2 and Schedule 3 to item CCW 2025-046 dated February 11th, 2025 be approved, and that the county's approval does not apply to the following non-decisions. Non-decision number 1, a non-decision applies to various sections and map schedules of the official plan that reference employment designations and policies, including section 6.5, supporting employment, 11.5, settlement employment, 11.13, highway employment, and 11.14, resort employment, and that staff issue a notice of decision of the official plan for the Township of Severn in accordance with the Planning Act. Seeing no other hands, all those in favor? That is carried. Next, under item 10, other matters for consideration. Are there any other corporate items for consideration? Seeing none, I'll pass it on back to you, Warden.
Okay, thank you. I'll turn it over to Chair Evans for performance management.
Thank you, Your Worship. Appreciate that. And again, morning, Council. Actually, 4 items this morning for performance management, 2 financing-based and 2 committee-based. So we'll start off item 11.1. which is a financing bylaw required for Simcoe Village Campus redevelopment project. So hope some of you had an opportunity to look at the construction developments so far going on in Beaton. Very impressive. And as someone involved in the building process right now, and it's very interesting to see that construction costs are, I don't know the exact 2 numbers, but definitely under 2%. So under just a little bit over original plan. So good to see that it's moving forward very well. Are there any comments or questions on this item? Seeing none, can I have a mover and a seconder, please? Moved by Deputy Warden Coughlin, seconded by Councillor Fryer. Thank you very much. Recommendation is that item CCW 2025-019, dated February 11th, 2025, regarding financing bylaw required for Simcoe Village Campus redevelopment project be received, and that the necessary bylaw be presented to County Council substantially in the form is attached Schedule 1 to this item to authorize the Warden and Clerk to enter into an application to Ontario Infrastructure and Lands Corporation, also known as OILC or Infrastructure Ontario, for temporary and long-term borrowing for certain capital works of the Corporation of the County of Simcoe pursuant to a capital line facility in accordance with the financing agreement with OILC, substantially in the form as attached Scheduled 1 to item CCW 2025-019. All those in favor? Are those opposed? Motion is carried. Thank you. Moving on to item 11.2. Which is a development charge infrastructure financing, so GAP financing for infrastructure development, basically covering us between the time that we build the infrastructure till we actually start to get revenues on this. So are there any comments or questions on this item? Seeing none, can I have a mover and a seconder, please? Moved by Councillor Anderson, thank you. Seconded by Councillor Vercake. Want to make sure you get paid for being here, so that's good to get you in the records. Motion is the item CCW 2025-037 dated February 11th, 2025 regarding the development charge infrastructure financing be received, and that the necessary bylaw be presented to County Council substantially in the form attached as Schedule 1 to this item to authorize the warden and clerk to enter into an application to Ontario Infrastructure and Lands Corporation, also known as OILC or Infrastructure Ontario, for temporary and long-term borrowing for certain capital works of the corporation in the county of Simcoe pursuant to a capital line facility in accordance with the financing agreement with OILC, substantially in the form as attached as Schedule 1 to item the CCW 2025-037. All those in favor? Those opposed? Thank you. The motion is carried. Moving on to Section 12, other matters for consideration. We have two. The first is with regards to Joint Accessibility Advisory Committee, report of January 21st, 2025. Comments or questions on this item? Seeing none, can I move in a seconder, please? Moved by Councillor Rawson, thank you. Seconded by Councillor Norris. Motion being that the recommendations contained within the Joint Accessibility Advisory Committee report dated January 21st, 2025 be approved with the exception of the Township of Adela Torzironto and Town of Midland recommendations. All those in favor? Those opposed? Motion is carried. Thank you. And moving on to item 12.2, Audit and Finance Committee report of February 4th, 2025. Comments and questions on this? Sorry, Warden?
Yes, we did have quite a discussion at the Audit Committee, so I will lead it off to let Council know. We spent 2 hours, I think, in that meeting looking into everything from fleet management. We were absolutely more than impressed with the safeties that are in place here at Simcoe County and even the controllers that look after our books and watch over things. Constantly laws change when it comes to human services and all that. As our managers come forward, the controllers have already studied the law. They know it. They're putting it into effect. They've got the programs running for when these laws take place. We're set right on top of that. So I don't know if, Mark, you wanted to add anything. It was quite a discussion, or even members of the Audit Committee. I know you were there, Chair Smith and Chair Evans, if you had any comments you'd like to add as well.
Thank you, Warden. Actually, I was not there, but I know there's a couple other people that want to make comments in the crowd too, but I was there in spirit. How about that? CIO, would you like to say something on that?
Just thank you, Your Worship, and obviously Trevor and Leland and their team have lots of controls in place, and I think it was a very good discussion because it really highlighted how the budgets are created, how the long-term financial plan is created, and the efficiency, I guess, within the system. So we appreciated the discussion.
Thank you, CAO. We'll go to Councillor Norris and then Councillor Smith. Councillor Norris, please.
Thank you, Councillor Evans, and I'll just echo what the Warden has actually said, and Mark. It was great insight into this whole thing, and I know other members will be commenting on it, but the big thing comes back down to say thank you to staff. Mark, Trevor, Rob, Mina, Jane, you have an excellent team below you, which makes, this whole organization pretty superior. So many thanks. Do convey to staff our thanks, and we do recognize that. So thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Norris. Councillor Smith?
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. And I'll again echo what everyone else has said, but I think the conversation was very robust. We did cover a lot of topics, but, I think what's important to mention or reiterate is the amount of checks and balances that are in place at the county to ensure that taxpayers' dollars are being spent and spent well. Never ceases to amaze me as we go through these processes. And with respect to the general managers and Trevor and Leland and their controllers, we see a good example of their hard work and good work today when we see, again, these one-time funding opportunities that we like to call them. Those happen because, it's my understanding that the province at the end of the year has a surplus. And so they reach out to the upper tier communities, if you will, and say, look, you've done a great job. You've been very reliable. You've been a great partner. We've got these dollars. Can you spend it? And of course, here at the County of Simcoe, our general manager and their teams, I'm sure, never have it's a split second to say yes out of their mouth, and I'm sure they can think of many things that we can spend those dollars on that work towards and help the citizens of Simcoe County for the greater good. So again, congratulations to staff. Job well done. And we should all sit here very confident that the checks and balances in place here at the County of Simcoe are second to none. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Smith. Well said. Further comments? Councillor Fryer, please.
At the risk of maybe repeating a little bit, I just want to say as a member of the committee how much we appreciate. Trevor didn't join us at the last meeting, but we want to take this opportunity today to convey to him that his team does a remarkable job. We appreciate you taking the time to answer our questions thoughtfully. And what really stood out to me, and we talked about this at length when we got the compliance report, there's a myriad of reports that our staff have to complete to do the checks and balances with the province, and we don't get any reports back of problems with a calculation here or calculation there, and I think that's a lot of the reason why Simcoe County is probably at the top of the list for the province to turn to when they have funds that they want to get distributed before the end of the year, and you're prepared for it, and we get the benefit of it. So again, just as a member of the committee, I really appreciate the efforts of staff in that regard.
Very good. Thank you, Councillor Fryer. Any other comments? Anybody online? Just like to, echo on behalf of the House that we all appreciate all the efforts that staff are doing. Just as an aside, there is a portion of the report that includes a explanation and outline of the insurance pool proposal. I know that we're all going through different presentations at this point, and I think it's a great explanation and very robust, and for people that, like myself, that just pay insurance because I have to or somebody told me to, I don't really understand how it all works. It's a great explanation in terms of how it works and the opportunities for those members that decide to move forward with that pool. So great report. Councillor Leduc, please.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. And I was just going to comment, I was going to probably bring it up in corporate services earlier, but I think maybe here would be maybe the place to look at it through the Audit and Finance Committee, and it's about Buy Canada. Buy Canadian goods. So with our American counterparts looking at tariffs coming in the future, the Finance Committee looks at the purchasing policy, and it's looking for an update in 2025. And I wondered if there's something in there that the committee could review and look at our purchasing policies to see what we can do to support local goods right here in Simcoe County. I know we do a wonderful job doing that already, but if there's some support that we can give to Team Canada when it comes to it, I know the big city mayors FCM met with the Prime Minister. AMO's doing that same thing, and I think it's incumbent upon us to look at some policies to see if we can help out in that Team Canada approach. So if we can look at from the Finance Audit Committee, I'm not sure if that's the place it should be, but I look to staff to help us out with that and create that policy that drives goods bought locally and being part of Team Canada.
I think it's a great comment, Councillor Leduc. I know that a few of the municipalities, I know that Collingwood put through a motion, I believe. Even in Township of Tiny, we decided to look at our procurement process as an initial, just to make sure that we're, especially those of us involved in construction, where that product is coming from. Maybe take his recommendation for the Audit Committee for their next meeting to kick that off. Councillor Wilcox, or I'm sorry, General Manager Wilcox, is there anything you'd like to add to that?
Thank you very much, Chair, and thank you for that comment. With the environment that we're in, absolutely, it's something that we'll look at in terms of procurement policy, and that's where we would address the issue. Personally, I'm waiting for things to settle a bit. I don't want to be a ditch to ditch kind of look at it. So yes, there are some things that we could look at doing, and we'll bring those recommendations to council for sure to do that. Thank you.
Thank you, General Manager. Councillor Fryer, you had your card up there. You okay?
I think everything's. We had a very short discussion about it because it had just happened. I informed the group of the first step we've taken in Collingwood, and we all agreed, because the stay had just happened at the same time, that we're in initial stages of looking at this, and we had talked about with staff that we knew something would be coming back in the near future and give us a little more robust report about it. Thank you.
Good. Thank you very much. Any further comments? Anybody online? No? Okay. Can I have a mover and a seconder, please? Moved by Councillor Cox, seconded by Councillor Broderick. Recommendation is that the recommendations contained within the Audit and Finance Committee report dated February 4th, 2025 be approved. All those in favor? Those opposed? Seeing none, motion is carried. Thank you very much. Are there any other items for consideration under performance management this time? Seeing none, I pass it back to you, Warden. Thank you.
Thank you, and I'll look for a motion that the February 11th, 2025 Committee of the Whole be adjourned at 9:45 a.m. Moved by Councillor McDonald, second by Councillor Anderson. All in favor? That is carried. Thank you, everyone. Economic Development Chair, what are you thinking? 10 o'clock, you'd like to call your meeting to order? 10 o'clock for Economic Development. Thank you.